Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So the moon is here. The moon is your card in the tarot. This isn't a tarot deck, it's a tea leaf deck. It's an oracle deck rather than a tarot deck. But you are ruled by the moon, Pisces. Jumping straight in with it today, sorry, excuse me. But this moon has been haunting me all week. All week. It's been in everybody's readings, keeping everybody's secrets. Like, I don't know, it's been haunting all the readings this week. Every reading has had this moon energy. So a lot of stuff about secrets, a lot of stuff about sex, a lot of stuff about accusations and things like this, and things that are hidden, and just generally like sex and secrets has been the theme of this week. And this moon energy is hanging around. So I actually figured out that it's full moon on the 16th, which I think is when your reading's going up, Pisces. So this moon energy, I feel like, is triggering a lot of people, and it's very strong as well. It's really kind of infiltrating all these different readings. Now, the full moon is going to be in, if you are using the Earth-centric zodiac system, the moon is going to be in Libra. If you're using the heliocentric, if I try and say big words, the sun-centric astrology system, which is the Western system, the sun is going to be in Scorpio. So Libra is a sign about romance. You know, she's ruled by Venus, so sexuality, desire, all these kind of things. Romantic relationships are very much Libra's territory, and Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and it's again very secretive. Likes to solve mysteries, keep their own secrets, and kind of find out everybody else's. And it's a very sexy sign as well. Scorpio's like a very sex dominated energy. So yeah, that watery, intuitive, fire and water, sexy secrets business is really, really strong. So already the moon is showing itself in your reading. So I just felt like, as I'm thinking about it, this moon that's been haunting all the readings this week, it's like I flipped over the deck and it was there. I was like, this moon energy. I haven't got you a song yet for your reading, so I'm going to do that kind of, I'm doing it next to the camera, I'm not doing it on camera, but let's pull you a song now. So Pisces for Saturday, full moon, what's going on? Where the Streets Have No Name by U2. So that's from the Joshua Tree album. I want to run, I want to hide, I want to tear down these walls that hold me inside, I want to reach out and touch the flame where the streets have no name. I want to feel the sunlight on my face. I see the dust cloud disappear without a trace. I want to take shelter from the poison rain where the streets have no name. Burning down love. We're building and burning down love, and I want to go there with you. So yeah, brilliant song, absolutely brilliant song. I'm going to listen to it when I finish the reading. It's very impassioned, right? And again, it's that energy of like anything that anyone's kept secret, especially to do with like romance or love or desire. Those kind of secret feelings are really getting strong around this full moon, like really like bursting to come up to the surface. So it is a tricky time because, you know, there's a reason why we keep our feelings hidden quite a lot of the time. Feelings when exposed or expressed can be quite destructive or disruptive. So a lot of the time people do keep their secret feelings and their desires to themselves. But this full moon is really almost like, even though it's a secretive energy, it's also like the light is at its fullest, you know, that there's as much light on the face of the moon as there could possibly be. So it's like these feelings are coming to light, they want to come out, right? That kind of base desires really kind of want to come up. So let's see. So like the Empress has been in pretty much every reading, the Empress card, every reading, and the moon card as well, or just moon energy in general. So yeah, the star just poked out, so that's great success. I'm just setting up your cards now because I kind of wanted to show you that moon was there, so you can see a little bit of my process here. Normally I do this off camera to save time, but just because this is a bit of a tricky deck. So yeah, I don't know, maybe somebody wants to go somewhere, travel with somebody perhaps. Whoa, did you see how that landed on that pile? That definitely wanted to go there. Arrow, you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. So if you needed to hear that, there you go. I'm very curious to know what that card is, but I'm not going to look at it. I feel like it's Again, like I'm just getting like secret energy, but it wants to be there. So again, that could be a message in itself. It wants to be there. You want to go somewhere, somebody wants to come to you, like somebody wants to be there. Cat, two-faced friend. Ooh, poor cats. Like, I'm team cats. Like, don't be calling my cats two-faced. No. I don't know. Team cats, right? Like, just because cats are independent and know what they want doesn't mean that you have to like call them names, okay? And that could be a message as well. Feels like that's kind of one of the messages that's been coming through the readings of, like, you know, like sexually empowered women. It doesn't have to be women, just people who are like very empowered, who know what they want, like kind of like Queen of Wands energy, expressive. It's like, it is quite cat energy to me. And a lot of the time people don't like that, you know, like especially kind of in terms of like history, like the patriarchy don't like those women. It's like they need to be suppressed. So a lot of the time as well, it can bring out like jealousy and things like this. So I don't know if there's something going on like that. But I don't know. Cats know what they want, right? Cats know what they want. They know where they want to be. You like, you know, if cats will go where they're treated well, and if they're not treated well, they're going to go somewhere else, right? They like their independence. Okay, what do we have for Pisces, please? Pisces for Saturday. So that big full moon in Libra or Scorpio, depending on which system you're using. What do we have? The Hierophant. Let's just send it up to God. let's just let God be in charge, right, of our lives. It's too complicated. It's too hard. Like, we'll just leave it up to the universe. It's fine. The Hierophant. So deep soul searching energy. You may be seeking guidance at this time. You may be helping to guide others. You may be experiencing a shift in your values or questioning your values. Again, I talked about the patriarchy. This is a patriarchal energy. You may be experiencing some kind of rules or regulations. These could be at work or in regard to some kind of governing body or somebody in a position of power. It's very much like the powers that be, right? The decision makers, the people who lead society, who create the rule book, who give us our moral compass. It's not necessarily bad if it was in the reverse, or if it had certain cards with it, like the Devil card. You know, that would tell me that there was corruption involved. But the Hierophant by itself is kind of like that grandfather energy of like the person who you can go to seek like parental advice from, like good, solid, like sage advice. So I don't know what that is for you, but that's what the card means. Okay, so what else, please? It could just indicate that the hand of God or the hand of the universe is at play in your life right now. I'm getting some of you are manifesting, so you know you're working with spirit to make your dreams a reality. Again, that kind of hand it over to the universe energy. Pisces, for some of you are experiencing like feelings of fate, like fated events or fated destiny. Some of you are kind of accepting the course that your life has taken and that the lessons that you've learned from that. And now that's not saying that you were destined to be, I don't know, victimized in any sort of way, but it's almost like you understand how, it's kind of like some of you are seeing the bigger picture of your life and you're seeing how all the different events of your life, almost like looking at it like chapters of a storybook, or like, you know, it's like frames of a movie is the way they're showing it me, like a, you know, like how a movie is like a movie reel and you can play it by frame. So it's almost like the highlights, you know, a bit like This Is Your Life, This Is Your Life, like the highlights of your life or key moments or key events have really shaped your life and your experiences. But then also with the Hierophant being like lessons learned, it's like taking the value from those experiences, even the negative ones. It's like taking out the lessons, you know, how you have had to fight to be stronger, but how you've had like spiritual growth from that. You know, you've developed as a person. And so you're taking the good stuff and almost like looking at it from a higher plane where it's like, I'm where I am now because of this, this, and this. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this, this, and this. And then finding acceptance in that, being like, I can't go back and change it, but I can change the future. I can change, like the rest of the script hasn't been written yet. But also a feeling of like, I accept what life brings to me. You know, what may be will be, kind of thing. And I've developed coping mechanisms where, you know, I am my own spiritual guidance now. Like I can rely on myself now. It feels like empowered. Okay, so I got quite a lot from that one card. I feel like there's something else as well that's trying to be said from it. Okay. Four of Swords. You are healing. This is a card about healing and how healing takes time. Again, this imagery of like looking back at time, looking back at the past, looking back at the things that made you feel very, very vulnerable. But you are holding on. She's holding on to this web here. So it's like holding on to some kind of spiritual interconnectivity with other people. There's this feeling as well of being like frozen in a moment in time. So she's behind this, like this clock's behind her and this clock's in front of her. So it's like looking at, like almost like as the past fades out of view, because that clock's a lot smaller, like actually looking towards the future and seeing how much time you've got left. So this is a moment of rest. It's a moment of contemplation. It's a moment of allowing yourself to sit in your vulnerabilities, but also holding on to that thread of life, right? So you are healing something. I'm going to put it that way around because I really feel like almost like the web is your connection to God or to spirit. The web is symbolic for me at the moment. It's like kind of spiders, tarantulas, webs have been coming through quite strongly for a couple of weeks for me, and they are coming through this message of you are protected. You do have spiritual protection and spiritual assistance. If you think of the cobweb, I know some people really don't like spiders and things, and they see them as something like scary, but that's not the message here. The message of the tarantula this week is interconnectedness, how we are all connected spiritually, because again, if God is omnipresent, or all powerful, all present, you know, all knowing, then he's, if you want to talk about God, you can change this into a lot of different ways, but for some of you it's your relationship to God. So for those of you who have this relationship to God, or whatever you want to call that, okay, the universe, some kind of spirit guide, like that omnipresent energy, that interconnectedness, the community energy, that we're all part of the same system. You are connected to the matrix, to the greater network. You know, that's really kind of symbolic of the spider web. But again, like the spider webs, the web protects the spider. So if you want to think of it as like a dream catcher, you know, people put up those dream catchers that catch the nightmares. So it's like that. It's like there is a veil, there is a web. I'm hearing that's sticky, that is protecting you, especially in your vulnerable moments. Yeah, it came through. There's been a lot of fear in these readings, again with that moon energy coming through really strongly this week. A lot of people, I think there's I have got my aspects on my phone. I think there's like a square with Saturn and Pluto or something like that happening this week, but there is an energy of like facing our fears. So some of you may have a fear of spiders. So this facing your fears, or like feeling the fear and doing it anyway, feeling the fear and pushing through. Again, it came through quite strongly with Libra, where I was like, I don't know if I'm meant to put this reading up, and I ended up re-recording it. But I wanted to put up something, right? I didn't want to, because I remember having a conversation with a Pisces and being like, do I just not do any readings this week? What is this message I'm receiving of like, shut up? So yeah, it's like, yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. Push through those fears. For Aquarius, it was like pushing into a water space, like going from one environment into another. So some of you may be transforming from one place into another place, like relocating or something, moving house, moving workplaces, or it's just like a spiritual relocation. I don't know. Yeah, it's like you are protected by this veil. And you are protected while you take the time you need to heal. And you are protected in your most vulnerable moments. No, going back in. Let's see what it was, but it wanted to go back in. Three of Wands. So you are taking the time to make a decision about your future. So again, this card does talk to me about like doing the shadow work, right? Accepting that nobody is 100% good and 100% evil. Like that's not a thing. Everybody's a little bit black and white. So you know, there's a lot of gray areas in life, and it's I think a lot of people grow up with this almost like childlike narrative in your head of like, in your head, in our heads, of the good guy and the bad guy, right? It's like, is this person a good guy or a bad guy? And it's like you have to weigh up those scales, like you're a Cyrus or something. You know, does this person have, yeah, is this person good or is this person evil? And then it's like you stack things up on either side. It's like, oh well, you know, they didn't, you know, they stole candy from that baby that one day, or you know, like, or they, you know, that dog smiled at them and they didn't smile back. You know, I don't know, there's like whatever it is, it's like you kind of like, that person hurt me but then they were really good to me that next day, but then they were really mean to me the next day, and it's like, are they a good person, are they a bad person? It's like you want to work out if they're the hero or the villain of the movie. And the truth is, and Libra had this in the reading that I didn't post, maybe I'm going to put it up now. Oh, most people are a mix. Most people are like a soup of good and evil, right? You know, 50 shades of of morality. Accepting that, not just within other people, but within yourself. You know, you're going to have your darker moments. You're going to have, you know, spiteful thoughts. You're going to have, you know, jealousy, on all those kind of like 7 deadly sins, almost is the way it's coming through. It's like you're going to experience those things on some level at some point. You know, nobody's an earth angel. That's not the reality. And likewise, nobody's like a demon on earth either. It's just not true. A lot of the time when people act in negative ways, it's because they have some kind of experience in the past that they're dealing with, that they're processing or refusing to process, right? That makes them strike out and hurt other people. Aquarius had this, I've got it back now. That's really funny. Aquarius had this imagery of a Siamese fighting fish. Now, if you know these fish, they're extremely beautiful. They were showing me like a red Siamese fighting fish. They've got like, it's almost like they've got veils like coming off them. Now they're showing me Mulan, which is funny because that didn't come through for Aquarius, but it is coming through now. So yeah, and they're telling me samurai fighting fish. Okay, it's, I can't get it back again now. Why does it keep doing that? I can't, Siamese fighting fish, but it keeps on coming through as, now I can't get the other one. Like, it's so, when I'm channeling, it's so weird to try and access my own brain. It's like I just spit out messages. So having to like get out of that and like actually use my own brain to think. Samurai fighting fish. Yeah, again, like look at this red, like the kind of like trailing red of it. It's kind of giving me like the kind of veils of the Siamese fighting fish. So I can't remember where I was going with that now because I've like come back out of the stream. Hang on. So yeah, Aquarius had this thing about the Siamese fighting fish, how they'll like literally they'll fight each other to death, but they'll also try and fight their own reflection. And obviously your own reflection is your own shadow self or your own mirror self, right? The parts, like, you know, when other people trigger you, but it's really just something inside yourself that is being projected onto that other person. So again, doing that work to peel off the layers of muck, right? To peel off the shadows that have imprinted themselves on you. I'm hearing since birth, but throughout like time. Yeah, and to not self-harm, and to not hurt yourself for the shadow aspects of your personality, but to incorporate them in a healthy way. Learning to fly again, I'm hearing for some of you, but it takes time. So the Four of Swords is again a card about taking time and healing. The Seven of Pentacles is doing things step by step. There's a real thing about like a long time here. This isn't like a moment. Like Aquarius had a moment in their reading, and this feels like, you know, a lifetime, like a lifetime stretching out into the past, but also this unwritten future that you have. So it's like the more you peel back the layers of the shadows of your own nature, you know, the own like the bits that you don't like about yourself, you know, the bits that you struggle to see in the mirror, the parts of yourself that are difficult to look back on, it's like the more you peel away at those, the lighter you'll become, the more free you'll feel when you go into future situations. Okay, Pisces, please. So a little glimpse into the future, hopefully here. 10 of Wands. So I'm going to get a clarifier. I think we'll see what this is, but I may clarify that 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands is about coming home. I want to say coming home to yourself. I'll bring it a bit closer so you can see. You know, she's got that fire at her back, but it's almost like burning away the weight. It's burning away the heaviness. There's something about with these two cards, and again, they're looking back, right? She's looking forwards, but these are looking back. So it's like trying to be that newborn babe again, right? Trying to be naked and vulnerable, and get, strip yourself back down to like the bare bones of who you actually are. So taking away like the trappings of I don't know, things that other people are projecting onto you, other people's burdens, other people's baggage, the things that are weighing you down kind of almost on a soul level, and letting them strip away and letting them burn away. But again, it's this ongoing process of like looking back. It's like how, like, looking back at almost like your story from birth, or like looking back at trying to get back to like a purer, sweeter, more innocent version of yourself. Not even like sweeter or innocent or good, but authentic, like your true self, like your naked true self, and stripping away this almost like the baggage of your life. Yeah. But there is a thread, like there's like a narrative thread or something running through this whole story for you. Like there's like a start to finish here. The 10 of Wands is completion. It's like coming home. The 10 of Wands is like literally like carrying around baggage, right? It's like ready to drop that baggage. And this feels like the baggage of a lifetime. So I'm just gonna have a sip of my coffee. Hang on. Okay, Pisces. And this is the beautiful thing as well, because I always say it's like, it's kind of like a philosophy, like I don't know how much truth there is to it, but this kind of theory that we have 12 lives on earth, and we start out as an Aries, which is the baby of the zodiac, and we run through all these 12 lives, and then we end with Pisces, who's like this like little cherub. It's like this old, like this old Benjamin Button, like this old baby energy, of like an old soul. Like you can look at Pisces children and like this, they're so sweet and innocent, but at the same time they've like got this almost like this Hierophant energy inside them, of somebody who's lived like 12 lifetimes. And then it's like, what do you do then? You go on to, I don't know, the next stage of existence. You transcend, or you go back into that Aries energy and you that baby again, like the newborn babe again, but you've got more experience. You've had that growth. So I don't know. I don't know how much there is to that, but kind of picking up on that a little bit here. What do we have, please, for the Hierophant for Pisces? Bird perched. Waiting for news, package a letter. So you could be waiting for news, package a letter from somebody like a government institution, a father figure, a church. You could be waiting for signs from spirit. Looks like you're waiting a long time for whatever this is. Tower, strong, solid foundation, success with effort. So yeah, the slower you do something, and hang on, what's this? Vine, seek out information that will help you. Again, seek out information. So if you are building something, if you're building a future for yourself or some kind of legacy or whatever it is that you're building in your life, right? Whatever it is that you're putting effort into, whatever it is that you are motivated to make reinforced and sturdy, I feel like the more effort you put into this, the more time you put into this, how long you work on this for is going to be a measure of how successful this is. So it could literally be talking about the tower of your own life, right? Your own existence, the solid foundations of who you are as a person, really seeing it that way. So taking the time to really root yourself, to ground yourself, lol, to lay down those solid roots, to gain some kind of stability, to gain some sense of, I'm gripping my toes into the earth of this world that is spinning at hundreds of miles an hour and flying through the universe. Like I'm getting really like this spinning, this momentum energy, like really kind of like putting your feet in the grass and digging in your toes and like gripping down and being like, this is where I am right now. This is who I am right now. I'm staking claim to my own being, my own self, my own autonomy here. But it could definitely be indicating something to do with this Hierophant energy, again, like government structures. The Seven of Pentacles, please. Wedge. Someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something that you want. Crane. Pay attention to your health. Do pay attention to your health. If any of you smoke, you want to definitely work on that. Work on smoking less. You know, having different coping mechanisms, replacing that with something else. I'm just getting like the tar, right? The tar on the lungs. So just be careful of that. Also the tar and like, I'm getting Billie Eilish. So there's a song by Billie Eilish called "All Good Girls Go to Hell," and it's if you want to go and watch the video to that movie, I mean, like, music videos are like short movies, right? But if you want to go and watch the music video to Billie Eilish, "All Good Girls Go to Hell," make sure it's the proper official video. It might not be the first one that comes up on a Google search. Sometimes they do like lyric videos and things like this. But to describe it so you know what you're watching, she's this angel. She falls down into a pit of tar and she comes out, and the tar sets on fire and kind of burns away this tar from it. It's a brilliantly done music video. All good girls go to hell, because even God herself has enemies. So yeah, maybe you are a bit of an earth angel, right? Hell is empty and all the devils are here, right? Well, family wishes come true. Okay, there you go. I don't know. So if you had any burdens or baggage in terms of your family, family wishes come true. Weeping willow, family sorrow. So this has, again, kind of a bittersweet quality. It's kind of been coming through a little bit for Aquarius and Libra as well. This like letting go of one thing opens the door for something new. So weeping willows are symbolic of death or grief or people passing. But it's almost an energy of allowing, if it's not a physical person, it could just be again like an ego death. I'm getting ego death for a lot of people this week, like the allowing a part of yourself to fall away, allowing a part of yourself. I'm getting guilt a lot. I'm getting like what would this be? I'm just trying to think, maybe like Lilith in Taurus or something. Lilith is I just feel really sick as I'm saying this. Lilith is an astral body that is connected to feelings of guilt and feelings of the things that we hate about ourselves, you know, the things that are difficult for us to come to terms with. It is linked to kind of like shadow work and things like this. It's kind of like a feminine devil energy, if you want to think of it that way, but it's like our own inner demons, like our own I'm getting victimization a lot, like feelings of victimization. Some of you may have Pisces in Pisces Lilith, you know, I don't know, go and Google it. Look in the description box down below. There's like a link to a service where you can find out your full birth chart. I'm not affiliated in any way. It's just a useful service that I use myself, and it'll give you a breakdown of all your different positions, and it's quite thorough. But just go and find out what your Lilith placement is and look that up, because it can teach you a huge amount about yourself, especially in terms of like anything to do with like guilt or self-hatred or you know, feelings of not being good enough. I've got a Capricorn Lilith placement, so for me it comes out in as terms of like daddy issues and kind of imposter syndrome, like that feeling of like feeling guilty when I get paid for doing work. It's like feeling guilty for taking money off people when I've actually worked to have that money. So like weird things like that, or always feeling like I don't have enough skills or I'm not good enough. So yeah, definitely go and check out your Lilith placement, because I'm getting something to do with like maybe, I don't know, maybe an earth sign Lilith placement, but it's coming through with the way I'm reading it is almost like ancestral guilt, right? Like not living up to the expectations of the father, or not living up to the expectations of the family, or you know, diverting from your cultural morals, and feeling very guilty about that. Even if you do it, or even if you just think of doing it, it's like, you know, the guilt that comes along with not fitting in the box, not fitting in the mold, not fitting in the guidelines, the structure of what a good person is supposed to look like. So whenever you deviate from, you know, almost like, again, going back to like that childhood narrative of good and evil, you know, you know, what a good person should look like. Little girls should be like little angels. Like, it's not realistic. You know, we're here, we're not here to be angels on earth. That is not what we're here to do. We're here for our soul to have a human experience on the earth, and to make mistakes and to learn from that and have experiences that we grow from and develop from. So trying to be 100% good all the time is not actually what we're here to do on earth, right? We can move towards goodness. We can try and be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And I think there is a lot of positivity to that. But if you don't make mistakes, you don't grow, right? And I want to say that whatever you see as this God or universe energy is guiding you through those mistakes, and it still loves you, right? This is unconditional love we're talking about. It's almost holding your hand as you make mistakes. So there's something about some kind of ego death in terms of what was expected of you from others, which is what I feel like this baggage is. And who you actually are at your core. When you strip away all the external input, all the external, it's almost like, as it could be something like, as a person passes, like, it's like a burden's gone from your shoulders. It's like, I no longer have to please that person. I no longer have to wear a mask and try and live my life under that person's rules. I can be myself now. So even though there's a sadness perhaps that, you know, you're losing someone, or a phase of your life is ending, it's almost like an unburdening. And also, even if this isn't you, I'm getting for some of you, it's like somebody that you're linked to, like a family member that you're linked to, who has carried around a lot of guilt. It's like, it could be somebody even that's passed a long time ago, but when, as their soul transcends, right, it's like the weight of the earthly burdens is gone from them. It's like shaking off the mortal coil, right? And becoming fresh again, becoming lighter, becoming unburdened by those life experiences on earth, which could be actually what you're wishing for somebody else. I wish that this person who is in spirit is unburdened from the baggage of their life, right? From a lot of the time as well, a lot of people do things because they have to. They do things because they're trying to survive. They do things because they're desperate, or because they have no other options, or because their options are limited. It's like literally they only have bad choices. And it's like, is that person really a bad person if they've only ever had bad choices, that they've, you know, bad options? So it could be a case of like, you know, do you let your children starve, or do you steal a loaf of bread? Both of those things are terrible, but you have love for your children, so you steal the bread. You know, it's and then it's that person's a thief. Well, they might be a thief, but at least they fed the children. So do you see how the grey areas can quickly you know, the waters can become muddied when we dig a little deeper into the motivation behind something that somebody's doing. And a lot of the times there's factors like socio-economic factors that mean that people's choices are limited, and people do what they have to do, or they do what they feel is right in that moment. And sometimes people make terrible choices, but there's a lot of factors involved in those terrible choices. And if we shy away from that as well, if we simplify the narrative into this person's a good person, that person's a bad person because they did that thing, then you're going back to this thing about society, then you're actually unburdening society from the responsibility to provide a safety net for the people who are falling through the cracks, right? The people who don't have good, I'm getting really emotional about this. It's like the people who don't have the you know, the safety net to catch them. We have to have a societal safety net so that we can catch the people who are falling through the gaps. Otherwise, you know, then we literally could have heaven on not well, heaven on earth, hell on earth, because we're letting people become devils, because we're not, as a society, not on a personal level, but as a society, we're not taking responsibility for our own, right? So the children, the generational children of society as a whole. There seems to be a big message about that coming through as well. You get deep messages. Okay. The Hierophant and the Bird Perch. Oh, this is my Jon Snow card. The Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords is normally taking action, Page of Swords. Interesting, you've got the Page into the Knight, because I was just about to say, the Knights are normally taking action. They're normally, sorry, I'm hearing falling on their sword, which, questionable. The knights are normally taking action. The Knight of Swords especially is like somebody who's riding into battle, right? They're like the messenger. They've got something to say. They've got news to deliver. They've got action to take. They've got something to do. They've got a purpose. This Knight of Swords is always talking to me about the prayer before taking action, the prayer before the purpose. So with the Page as well, it's like this person is in the, it's almost like about to do something, but asking for a sign. Is this the right thing to do? Am I truly being divinely guided here? Am I truly acting for, it's almost like Crusader, which has very swampy connotations, but you know that feeling of like seeking guidance from above. Am I doing the moral thing here? Am I doing the right thing? I'm going to do something, and like I need to be sure that what I'm doing is the right thing. So it's kind of like planning, strategizing, searching, watching, before taking some kind of action, and it's quite swift action. Again, it's like waiting for news. It's like this is the perched bird, right? It's almost like this energy here, which I want to say is an energy outside of you, is the perched bird. This is the person who is waiting for a sign from this person who's guiding them. Again, it could be a father figure, it could be God, it could be the universe, it could be you know, some kind of mentor. It's like waiting for the sign, which again, Aquarius had a very similar thing where it's like they were on the starting block, right? They were waiting for the sign to go, for the sign to run. So waiting for news, waiting for, I want to say this is like waiting for a sign from you, perhaps. But there's this energy of, I need to be sure before I walk out the door. Oh, I want to break free. Someone had that this week. The Tower. The Tower with the Tower and the Fool. Someone's breaking free. Wow. I'm just getting the song. It could have come through for Sagittarius, I think. I feel like it was Sagittarius or Capricorn. I've fallen in love. I've fallen in love for the first time. This time I know it's for real. Yeah, breaking out of, it's like breaking out of the government structure, breaking out of the tradition, breaking out of the narrative, whatever that tower symbolizes. Success with effort. Perhaps, I feel like Aquarius had this a few weeks back, where it was like these two grandfathers, and it like there was this child, and the child had found something. It was like maybe like an egg, you know, or a bird, or like they'd found something, and it was like, which grandfather do I give it to? And it was like, who do you love the most? Which family legacy do you love the most? Like you know, like so it's like these two different granddads, and it was like, well, and it's like these two granddads were competing. It was like, well, if you give this thing to me, I can give you this. Or if you give this thing to me, I can give you this. And, or like, what should I do with it? So it was coming through as like maybe like a child coming into some money or some inheritance or some spends, and the grandfather's giving conflicting advice. So one grandfather who's coming through is this more like Pentacles energy, was saying, you want to put that into, you want to plan for the long term, you want to invest that, you want to put that into a savings account. And the other was saying, you don't know when your life is going to end, right? You know, you're like, you know, what's the point in planning for a future when the future's so uncertain? Live in the moment, have fun in the moment, have pleasure in the moment, go out and buy yourself some sweets, go out and buy a toy. And that was much more of the Piscean granddad. Yeah, it's, where was I going with this? Success with effort, with the Seven of Pentacles. And again, it's like the Seven of Pentacles is almost what's being stripped away. So it's almost like this legacy of this is what makes you successful. This is what your granddad did that made him successful. This is what your father did that made him successful. We want you to go into the family business. You know, if you work hard, if you put in effort over time, you're going to be successful. You're going to have a good life. But it's almost like that's the lie. I'm just thinking of how some of you may be Aquarius, Pisces cusp, because I'm kind of seeing a bit of a tipple over from their reading, where it's like buying into a consumerist narrative or like a capitalist narrative of, you know, having nice things will bring you joy. Like having a good job, getting a university education, having a good job, being a doctor. I don't know if this doctor energy keeps coming up. You know, these are the signs of success. These are the things that will make you happy. You know, do what has been done before, you know, follow the guidebook. And then actually doing that and being like, but I'm not happy. This isn't me. When I strip all this societal expectation back, this is not who I truly am. So it really feels like jumping out of the tower, like the tower's on fire. I'm going to take a leap of faith here. I'm going to take this opportunity to leave, right? Make like a tree leave, I'm hearing. Yeah, no, the tower's falling. Either the tower's falling or the tower's on fire. And you didn't want to be there anyway, or this person didn't want to be there. So it could be somebody breaking out. If you form some sort of structure, this person could be breaking away from your structure because they are a different person, right? They need to march to the beat of their own drum. Wow, okay. I'm getting Buildings and Bridges by Annie DiFranco. Buildings and bridges are made to bend with the wind to withstand the world. That's what it takes. All that steel and stone are no match for the air, my friend. What doesn't bend breaks. What doesn't bend break. So if somebody here, and I don't know if it's you or this other person, but you can flip it and reverse it. If somebody has been very inflexible, like these are the rules, these are the expectations, this is what this family does, right? If somebody's been too in the box, too patriarchal, too stubborn, this is a Taurus energy, then it's what doesn't bend breaks, right? It's you have to innovate, you have to develop, you have to move with the times. So I'm really getting this generational thing. It comes through for caps a lot. So I don't know if like maybe like Saturn is playing into your chart somehow at the moment. Again, I did say there was like this square with Saturn this week. So there is this real questioning of what has been done before. I just need to pause for a second. Hold on. Sorry, I got this sudden feeling of compression. It was like compression around my eyes, a little bit like a migraine, or like a dizziness, and then like a compression of the chest as well. It was just like this compression energy all of a sudden. And it's like I just had to stop and take a deep breath. Like, okay, so some of you may be dealing with somebody who causes you a lot of stress or anxiety. It felt a little bit like panic attack energy, like really disorientated. Just be careful as well if you're going into buildings, if you're in like an earthquake zone or anything like that. Just be careful if you're going into like unsafe buildings, you know, like is the building up to code? Is there like building regulations, something like this? Just real kind of, I didn't like that. Okay, so I can't even remember what I was saying now. I really feel like there could be some attempt to stop someone from going against the grain, like to stop someone from breaking out of the mold. I just feel like I've been hit in the head. I feel like I've been hit in the head. I feel like I'm dazed. It's like I suddenly can't get any clarity in my thoughts. It's like preparing for some sort of battle, right? And going into it, and this feels suppressive. I don't want to say this is not you. It just seems to be what you're dealing with. Again, it's something to do like structures, society, traditions, rules, the way things should be done, as opposed to the way things authentically feel right for you. Yeah, so that's where I was going with that. You know, if things now are not the same as they were 1,000, 2,000 years ago, we're not living in the Crusades, right? We're not living in biblical times right now. It's funny, did I mention the Tower of Babel? I don't know if it was you or Aquarius. The Tower of Babel came out. I'm getting like the Mumford and Sons song, and I'll tear your walls, like I'll tear your walls down, and I'll play my bloody part. I'll play my bloody part to tear them all down. Sometimes we have to stand up against this kind of authoritative energy. I'm just thinking about what's happening in like Texas in terms of, and I mentioned this in Scorpio's reading a little bit. In Texas, what's happening in terms of their legislation in terms of sex education and what can and can't be said. Again with this sex and secrets energy of suppression. Which could be potentially very dangerous, but it's that kind of energy of like, again, no matter what you feel about that, they could be something about where society is changing, the world is changing, and we don't have to fear that. We have to support the natural healthy development of that. So how do we better support the way the world is changing, the children and the generations to come, and their needs? How do we acknowledge their needs and support their needs without suppressing that? Because each generation is different, each generation is innovating, and the generations before are not necessarily going to understand or be able to fully identify with that. But what they can do is be open to accepting that the children or the younger generations are different, and it's a generational thing. And it's there can be a lot of fear with that when you are an older person, because you think this is very different to the morals that I grew up with and the society that I grew up in. And there can be some fear around what that means. So there could be a message here about if you are a younger person and you are dealing with somebody who's older and perhaps is struggling to understand who you are, and what comes very naturally to you because of the world that you're growing up in, right? Then the things and the people and the influences that you're engaging with that feel very healthy to you and feel very right to you and who you are as a unique person within that society. If you're dealing with somebody who's of an older society, perhaps a much older society, an older generation, perhaps a grandfather figure, the things that you are experiencing in a healthy way could have been something that they experienced in an unhealthy way, or that they grew up thinking was wrong. So if they're being very suppressive, I want to say some of them, not all of them, some of them could be trying to protect you and keep you safe, because their experience, their reality is almost a different reality than the reality you're experiencing. So if we want to talk about this in terms of transgender rights, I know, at least in my own society, in my own population, in the place where I live, the generation that's kind of in school or just leaving school now are very open and very understanding of what it means to be transgender. I have met several transgender children of that generation, and they're happy, they're healthy, they're supported, they are able to be who they are with their friends. Of course, there's teenage years, there's always going to be some identity issues and some struggles there, some bullying and things like that, but on the whole, that it's a very supportive environment. It's a very healthy, supportive environment where people are growing into who they identify as. But if you want to take this back a few generations to perhaps, the people who are quite elderly now and they're experiencing school, they weren't able to express themselves in that way. And if somebody did identify as transgender, it was often seen as something that was very wrong and something that needed to be corrected. So if they have experienced some fear regarding that in their own life, their own experience of what that means, right? What it means to be transgender. It's not going to apply for everybody, by the way. Just take it or leave it. I'm just feeding you what I'm being given intuitively. So it's like, I want to say that, especially if this grandparent energy, whatever that symbolizes for you, if they love this younger generation, I want to say if they are being very authoritative or very suppressive, while that is, it's not the best reaction that they could have. I want to say that at the core of it, it could be coming from a place where they're trying to love you and protect you and support you in the way that they understand, you know, the way they understand that to be, right? And their idea of what love and support means could look very, very different to what the younger generation experience that as. So I think there could be, while somebody is breaking away to be more free and who they truly are themselves, you know, breaking out of a situation that feels very suppressive and causes them a lot of anxiety. Again, it could be talking about maybe not a grandparent, but it could be talking about a traditional structure, a government. This is quite specific, but if it's for you, you'll know what I'm saying. So there could be a situation where you work for a certain workplace, and your workplace is in a certain government district, and it could be that your workplace has certain values, and the government and the representation there is not only very different to your, you know, the values of your business, your company, or you as a person, a family. It's like the governing body does not only doesn't support you, but is actively promoting a very different viewpoint to the viewpoint of your workplace. And you may be questioning whether or not it's suitable for that workplace to continue in that legislation, or whether you need to move to a different governing body. That could be for somebody. Yeah, it could be something like that. A very, very, yeah. Let's just keep going. Seven of Pentacles, wedge. Someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. The Emperor. Well, this could be this patriarchal energy again. The Hierophant, the Emperor, and the Tower. Very, very patriarchal. Very much the structure, the governing body, the father figure, just the patriarchy, whatever that means for you. It could be a boss. It could be somebody who is working in this government body, a politician, a CEO. It could be a husband. It could be a father figure. But again, I want to say there's something about this energy where it's like they are trying to protect. They are trying to get you behind them and protect you, right? This, while they're bossy and authoritative and, you know, perhaps a little bit, get behind me, I will protect you, I am the man, you know, a bit old-fashioned. I want to say that it is coming from a place of wanting to protect. Again, the Hierophant and the Emperor have come out in the upright, and I'm not seeing anything really that says that they're, again, everybody's experiences is different. If you are experiencing this energy as something that is horribly oppressive and you have to escape from it, then that is your experience, and I'm not undermining that in any sort of way. The way that the cards are reading is coming from that fatherly place of, I want to protect you from the big scary world out there. It just may not be, again, what they are seeing as protection may be perceived as somebody as oppression. And I am not here to say who's right and who's wrong. I'm just reading cards, okay? So please don't get mad at me. 10 of Wands, well, family wishes come true. But again, it sometimes can be. Sometimes could be, again, with that Willow, it could be like the head of the family, right? The grandfather, the patriarch of the family, the guy who sits at the head of the table at Christmas, who gets to, you know, call the shots, you know, do this or you're not getting your inheritance, that kind of thing. Or like, you know, do this or you're out of the family, that kind of energy. I like the way I'm sat as well now. I'm like, oh, I'm the boss of the dinner table. It could be when that person passes away, somebody else gets to step up. The father and the grandfather, right? The father steps up and makes a few changes, you know, and it's a weight off everybody's shoulders that they don't have to deal with that outdated version of patriarchy. Page of Cups. So here you are, Pisces. Family wishes come true. The baby of the zodiac. they could definitely be something to do with sexuality, sexual desire, what you find attractive, how you want to be perceived. The Page of Cups, though, is is pure emotions. Again, going back down to boiling it down to the bare bones. What does that look like for you? What is your authentic truth? So there is some self-discovery here. Again, I'm kind of seeing you as this energy, but flip it and reverse it if needs be. It's not going to be for everybody either. So if you're not finding this reading compatible, if you're thinking, no, that's not right, it might just not be your reading. And again, it's a collective energy, so there's going to be some things in there for you, some things in there for other people, and it may, for some of you, just give you an idea of how you're being perceived, even though you think you're acting in the best interests of other people. So please don't come at me in an angry way. I'm just reading cards. It's not a personal reading. Don't take it personally. Take anything that's helpful and leave the rest. Okay, so the Page of Cups, it's very sweet, very, very sweet, very it's kind of like somebody who's just starting to explore new emotions, you know, just starting to explore love, just starting to explore what love means to them, what their emotional core is telling them. Yeah, it's explorative, kind of naive energy, which again, if somebody has like a Pisces child who's just starting to explore their sexuality, this kind of daddy energy can sometimes come in and be like, you're not wearing that, you know. And she does look like Sharing Clueless, which is funny because I've been seeing the clip where she comes downstairs in the Calvin Klein dress and he's like, what are you wearing? And she's like, it's Calvin Klein. And he's like, I don't know, I can't remember the clip exactly, but he's like, put something all over it, and she's like, okay daddy, and then she goes and puts like a sheer blouse on. Yeah, it just reminds me of that. So and again, like Alicia Silverstone in The Crush as well, or you know, that Bon Jovi video as well, where she's like goes to the strip club. It's like, and she dresses up as the guy. So yeah, somebody's playing. I want to say somebody's playing and exploring their own emotional needs. You know, what they need and who they are, which is fine. Like, we're meant to do that in our formative years. We're meant to explore and develop that identity. And have a safe space to do it. And again, it could be a case of this is just the guy keeping an eye on you, right? Making sure that you don't need him to come in and rescue you if you get yourself into a sticky situation, which is not bad. It's just natural natural for parents to feel that way, right? To be like, okay, you go and do what you want to do, but if you need me, I'm going to keep an eye on you, and I'm going to be over there like a shot if you need saving, like the princess from the tower, right? Page of Cups, I'm going to read this for you because she does look a little bit like a temptress or a seductress, right? She does look a little bit like a siren. I'm sorry, the camera's struggling to focus a little bit here. I am a nocturnal mermaid. You may wonder if I'm real. I am, as real as the bursting creative energy within inside you. I spring out from the water to bring you good news. This is a time of wonders for you. Expect the unexpected. Let your intuition and your artistic gifts rule. The skulls around me are not men I've led to my death by my singing. They represent the symbolic death. I could, like, if people died from my singing, it's because my singing is really bad. It's too high pitched. It could, like, shatter glass. They represent the symbolic death of those who do not listen to their hearts, those who stop dreaming. I want you to be romantic, youthful, inspired, and free, just as I am. Dream a magic dream and make it happen. Dream a little dream of me. Dare to dream, dare to love, dare to swim with me in the flow of hope and inspiration. Only there can the treasures of bliss be found. Gorgeous. I really, really like it. So I don't know. I hope that something I've discussed here is helpful to you. Let's pull you an advice card. I'm going Queen of the Moon because we have got that gorgeous full moon. And again, it's a gorgeous full moon about really taking that deep dive into our own hidden desires and needs, right? Our own emotional, sexual needs and desires. So it's actually quite gorgeous. So we can all go away and enjoy doing that. Right. Hunger. What are you hungry for? Okay. Hungry like the wolf, right? Resilience is popping out. Perseverance, resilience. I wasn't focused though, so I'm going to go again. And I saw beauty under that as well. Pisces. Spicy Pisces. Full moon, Saturday, Pisces. What do we have as advice, please? What do we have as advice, please, for Pisces? Extremes. getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes, baby. The hot moon. I mean, maybe go and watch Scorpio's reading, you know, your fellow water sign, because it was definitely getting hot in here, and Aquarius as well. Like, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off. Yeah, I had to literally take my clothes off in Aquarius's reading. It got so spicy. It wasn't even their energy, it was like something they were dealing with. Okay, so with this tower moment, which again, the tower is floating around at the moment, everybody's having a little tower moment. It's fine, we can deal with it, right? We've got this. We're a waitress wearing a white dress. Look how we got this. Learn how to handle crises with calm and resilience. Seeking balance is superior to seeking extremes. There are better ways to handle conflict than rage and outrage. There may be somebody who seeks to disrupt your business or life in some way. This too shall pass. Here we go, Pisces, repeat after me. I handle extremes with grace, yet I seek balance in all things. Most of us have experienced extremes of weather, boiling hot days, or the freezing of snow and ice, fire and ice. Whether or not I put the reading up, I may redo it. Capricorn had fire and ice. It made me think of Blades of Glory. You certainly know you are alive, because the sensation can be so overwhelming or stressful on the body. The hot moon appeared in the hottest time of the year, when the days were longest and the rains less frequent. Similarly, we can experience extremes in life: deaths, job losses, relationship breakdowns, true fears, big conflicts, booms and busts. And yet, this is life. Our situation can change quickly for better or worse. The hot moon challenges us to build our resilience and reserves of wisdom. We saw resilience, right? And I do associate resilience energy with Pisces, because right from when I first started doing readings, you kept coming out as this polar bear energy, which, shout out Grandad David, this polar bear energy that was coming through with like, if you know, like his Mortal Instruments, the polar bear in that, he was like the hero saving the day. But it was like the polar bear was like tough and weathered and built for persevering through like extreme weather, right? Like, I'm gonna get you the card. Hold on. Yeah, so here you go. So like the polar bear perseveres, right, through those extreme environments. So some of you could be like soldiers or something, right? It's like learning how to survive the harsh environments, whatever that may be. So the polar bear is built for it, right? He perseveres. So we saw perseverance. I may actually just read that as well. And here we have like the ability to weather like the different storms that come in. The hot moon challenges us to build our resilience and reserves of wisdom and calm for those times when things are at their extreme. It reminds us that developing grace under pressure is worth its weight in gold, and even these extremes in time will pass. Okay, so again, with that feeling of like anxiety or compression that was coming through over here, it's like learning how to, I don't know, when you're in a stressful environment, learning how to just breathe and do what needs to be done, right? To act and not react. Yeah, in difficult circumstances. I'm going to actually read resilience, because I feel like there's a message in there trying to come through. 21. I'm now like, I'm not going to read that one. And then I'm like, I'm going to read it. This reading's not long enough. It needs to be 2 hours long. Resilience. Making mistakes builds resilience. I have learnt my lessons from the mistakes I have made. Yeah, I should have just read it. I should have just trusted the cards, because that's what I was saying up there. I have learned lessons from the mistakes I have made. I stand strong. I am an adult and I act with self-responsibility. And there she is, like carrying the burdens on her back, right? I am strong and resilient. As we stretch and expand towards our intentions, we will most likely meet resistance or, wait for it, make mistakes or fail altogether. This is where resilience, confidence, and our own inner will come into play. We might ask ourselves, how much do we really want what we are going for? Does what we want align with our needs and values? Are we really devoted to having it? Do we think we are enough? Do we have the strength to keep going? Well, all of us at some time have to go through periods of imbalance and difficulty, even of suffering. It is important that we learn to grow and rely on our resilience. This is true power from the inside out. I always say as well, resilience is like probably the most important skill you could ever teach a child, like the ability to persevere, obviously, and know when to give up, right? that kind of, if at first I don't succeed, try and try again, and then stop, right? Like, how much do you want that thing that you're persevering towards? You know, knowing when to quit and knowing when to keep going is very important, and knowing how to keep going if you really want something. Building our reserves of resilience, the ability to stand strong and bounce back, again, bouncing back, such a skill, is something that has at its heart wisdom and learning taken from experience. And you don't gain that unless you go through the tougher things, right? Having resilience allows us the solidity and yet the freedom to grow and take that leap to the next level. It allows us to reach higher with a stability that makes things less risky and allows us to create with a bit more pleasure. Remember, mistakes are simply information gathering. That's it. The less drama and guilt and shame you attach to them, what did she say, guys? The better. The experience of failure or mistakes is simply one of learning, and that is all. As we move around the lunar cycle and in life, we can see how things may have occurred before and that we have experience in how to handle them. Even if we don't have direct experience, we can build resilience as an insurance policy against being devastated by the opinions of others. Safety net, right? The spider web, what did I say? While someone might say something nasty about us, when we compare this to what we know about to be true about ourselves, it truly is no great hurt and really is just a piece of information gathering. I was actually getting, kind of when I was in and out of sleep, I was getting sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but no, you know, like that saying that children say, but it's so true. And I remember being taught this when I was a child, like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like when you know who you are, when you have that inner connection to, you know, your true self, your higher self and spirit, like it doesn't matter what anyone has to say about you because you know who you are, right? You know your truth. So just let it go. Let it go. All right, not everybody has to like us. You know, we're not for everybody, and neither should we be, right? If everybody likes you, there's probably something really odd going on there. You know, there's obviously people like Keanu Reeves who like everybody likes, but even then, that's still he's not going to be perfect. You know, I bet if you got to know him, like, and I'm sure a lot of you want to, there's probably some imperfections there. There's probably some skeletons in his cupboard that he just, you know, he keeps back there. You know, even the best of us, we have things to learn. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Okay, do take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye, Pisces.